But he wouldn't stop. Well, Floyd was boxing him up. Yeah. So Floyd is just piecing him up. So Floyd, you know, I mean, even at 46, he's the greatest of all time. He caught Floyd a couple times with some little shots, but mostly he's just getting boxed up, right?
Let me go. Slow him down.
Joe Rogan couldn't hide his shock when he saw the sparring video showing Terence Crawford being humbled by Floyd Mayweather just before his fight against Canelo Alvarez. I know sparring shouldn't be taken too seriously, but that was crazy. From a 48-year-old man against the world's best at the moment, Rogan said. The video captured moments where Mayweather effortlessly slipped Crawford's punches and responded with sharp, dangerous counter combinations. This left Rogan particularly stunned, especially since he had previously supported Crawford in the GOAT debate.
Like in Canelo versus Crawford.
Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler.
I'm a giant Crawford fan because I called his coming out fight against Bradis Prescott
He's
and
special.
then various other stepping stones throughout his career.
I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he
Just after the fight, Joe Rogan had declared Crawford as one of the greatest boxers ever, even ranking him above Floyd Mayweather and several other legends. However, after seeing that Crawford struggled against Mayweather in sparring, even though Floyd retired 10 years ago, Rogan immediately changed his stance. "I'm mind blown right now," he said. "It's just clear that Floyd remains the best ever. No generation can stand him, and I must admit, he's cut from a different cloth."
Up by literally the greatest boxer of all time. But he was holding on quite a bit and wouldn't let go and was trying to like hold and clinch and hit, which is something like right here, which is something you can do in MMA. So he's protecting himself from Floyd, but
Well, the video clearly showed signs of being cut and edited. This means there's every possibility that things played out differently than what we saw in those few seconds. This was also evident in another sparring video Floyd Mayweather released last year between Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. In the first excerpt, it looked like Gervonta Davis was dominating, but when the full video was released, the picture changed completely. This has only fueled more controversy around Floyd Mayweather and his decision to selectively edit and release sparring footage.
There you go. You only threw one. Good jab. Don't break. Grab the stick. He's a beast. He's a beast. He's a beast, baby.
Well, the sparring video didn't just stop with Joe Rogan. Boxing fans all around the world expressed their shock, with Mayweather's supporters firing shots at those comparing him with Crawford, while Crawford's fans are demanding the full sparring video. "Floyd's so shady. Why cut out the video? I'm sure Bud destroyed him in the rest of it. That man's such a bad person, and Bud's always shown him respect," said one Crawford fan. An opposing fan viewed it differently, saying, "Floyd's really the GOAT. He still has sharp reflexes and combinations even at this age. I'm sure the results would be the same if this fight were real."
For the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. Go. Greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists, you know, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
He came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the...
Another commented, "Floyd is levels above fighters of this generation and every other generation. His defensive game puts him far ahead of every fighter. Crawford won't hit him even if he tries." A fourth fan said, "Was so sure that Crawford met with Floyd or Bal to fight the way he did. Not saying he's not skilled, but he followed a clear blueprint to get that victory. He showed his own skills when he stayed in the pocket though." And finally, one added, "Floyd versus Bud is the reigning debate. They all get compared with Floyd. From Ali to Pacquiao to Usyk to Crawford, Floyd's the yardstick. And that's why he's the greatest."
Take Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there's a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
It'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
What makes it? I mean, what? Because and I told people this. I said, look at Floyd. I said, Floyd is not that he trains. I mean, it's his life, and from the very beginning, he said, "I want to be the best."
when I fought Canelo, I was 36 and Canelo was 23, around the same age. Some of these guys won world titles and was undisputed champion. I think, the Tank age, the young low champions. Canelo was 23 with 43 fights and 30 knockouts.
When asked whether he had matched Mayweather's feats, Crawford refused to engage in comparisons. "Listen, Floyd was the greatest of his era, and I'm the greatest of mine," Crawford said at the post-fight press conference. "There is no need to compare." However, the debate heated up about 15 minutes later when Alvarez, who had nothing but respect for Crawford despite his defeat, was asked which fighter was better, especially considering that Alvarez, then 23, had suffered his first professional loss to a 36-year-old Mayweather in 2013.
Because that style of fight, I don't think he beats someone like Terence Crawford. But if I'm Terence Crawford, of course I'll fight him again. But this time, I'm the A side. I think Terence Crawford is going to be more confident next time, knowing that I can punch with this guy. I can take his shot. I'm faster.
He fought Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
He didn't do what the last two did.
Crawford deserves all the credit. "I tried my best tonight, but just could not figure out his style. He had everything," Alvarez said. "I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather." However, Canelo's biggest boxing rival and Golden Boy promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, disagreed. "I have to disagree because Floyd Mayweather toyed with Canelo. Like, he literally toyed with him. He didn't get hit at all, not even once. Crawford, yeah, he's more of a fighter boxer. Mayweather's more of a pure boxer. But I think Mayweather is far superior to Crawford. Not just because he beat me, or because it was a close fight, or that I stepped into the ring with him. I truly believe, technically, Mayweather is the better fighter."
Now, who would do it? Because Canelo after the fight said that Crawford was way better than Floyd. You know Crawford, you know Canelo, you know Floyd. What do you think? Who would win in a fight?
My man. I have to disagree because Floyd Mayweather toyed with Canelo. Like, he literally toyed with him. He didn't get hit at all. Not one time. And
to be honest, it's a debate that isn't easy to settle quickly. Even though the eras in which Mayweather and Crawford dominated slightly overlapped, Crawford won his first world title in 2014, 1 year before Mayweather fought his final title bout and retired for 2 years. Not to mention that Alvarez, whose resume far surpasses Crawford's in terms of high-quality wins, had long been considered the ruler of his own era, until the result of last weekend's fight.
I like Crawford's style of fighting, the way he's gonna come after him. Mayweather? Okay, let's do this. Money Mayweather, I think Crawford beats.
Okay. Pretty boy.
Pretty boy, I don't know. I think Pretty Boy, it might be Pretty Boy. I don't know. That's what I'm
For all the excellence of Crawford's last 3 fights over the past 2 years, and the impact each had on his legacy, it wasn't until he defeated Spence at age 35 that he truly earned recognition as one of the greatest boxers of this century. Even with Crawford equaling Mayweather as a 5-division champion, comparing the name value of the fighters, each has beaten overwhelmingly favors Mayweather. Crawford won world titles from unbeaten champions in highly respectable victories over Yuriorkis Gamboa, Victor Postol, Jeff Horn, and Amir Khan. But the number of truly elite wins on his record tends to center around Sean Porter, Errol Spence Jr., and now Canelo Alvarez.
Challenge for him pushed him even harder to train harder and to be better. That challenge, went up against Canelo, moving up 2 divisions, hearing that people are saying, "Oh, he didn't look too good against Madrimov, so how could he look good at 68?" Well, that motivated more, man. He trained hard.
Crawford also defeated big names like Amir Khan and Kell Brook in pay-per-view bouts, though both were considered well past their primes. Mayweather, the true money man of his era and the highest paid boxer in history, who reigned atop the pound-for-pound rankings for much of his career, boasts an almost unrivaled run of wins over current or future Hall of Famers, such as Arturo Gatti, Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Juan Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez. In addition, Mayweather scored incredibly impressive title wins over fighters like Genaro Hernandez, Diego Corrales, José Luis Castillo, Sab Shuda, Robert Guerrero, and Marcos Maidana.
Work on what you need to work on. Put your head down and grind. You get results like this.
I noticed that when I was watching the fight that Terence Crawford specifically, whichever side that Canelo threw at him, Terence would respond with a shot from that side as well. Did you see that in the tape that you watched of Canelo as a weakness where he...
Comparing resumes, however, doesn't tell the full story. Crawford was never the showman or charismatic pay-per-view draw that Mayweather was, which meant his former promoter, Top Rank, struggled to land big fights for him, viewing him as a high-risk, low-reward commodity. Even though Mayweather's resume will likely age like fine wine due to the immense name value he carries, the timing of many of his biggest fights comes with an asterisk in the eyes of his harshest critics. As both the pound-for-pound and pay-per-view king simultaneously, Mayweather had the leverage to fight on his own terms and at strategically chosen moments.
Using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But, like, his core personality and his...
We all remember that the Mayweather-Pacquiao super fight, still the richest title bout in boxing history, came more than 5 years after its ideal time. Mayweather also forced Alvarez to drop 3 pounds to meet a catchweight, didn't fight Mosley until he was nearly 39, and purposely missed weight by 2 pounds to gain an advantage against Marquez.
Canelo go from here, Henry.
He needs to rematch. If I'm Canelo, I want to rematch Terence Crawford. He got schooled, bro. He got outboxed, dude, by Terence Crawford. And I know that he's itching to get that one back. The first time he fought Triple G, and he came back the second time, and he legit beat Triple G.
Once in a lifetime fight. It doesn't need to be a rematch. I think Bud would do worse the next fight.
From the standpoint of his critics, a contemporary like Crawford, with elite speed, power, and ring IQ, would be exactly the type of opponent the prime welterweight version of Mayweather would have avoided. However you rank him, Crawford has that old-school grit and adaptability suggesting he could have dominated in any era, before or after him. And even though it took longer than expected for him to get such a shining opportunity, there's still time for Crawford, especially if he chooses to move up to 160 lb, to add even more to his already remarkable legacy.
I had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We even had the conversation go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it.
Despite frequent comparisons between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, Bud refused to deny the 50-0 boxing champion his rightful honors. Terence Crawford holds deep respect for Floyd Mayweather, and when asked about their similarities, he had more to say. He's the king, Crawford stated, openly praising and acknowledging Mayweather's greatness. He continued, "We have quite a lot in common in some aspects, but we're a little different because I take more chances." Earlier in his career, he also took many risks. It just depends on which Floyd Mayweather you're talking about. I mean, are you talking about money or Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seeker, the destroyer. Then he started having hand injuries, so he couldn't maintain the same power, and he was moving up in weight to fight bigger opponents.
You know, right now, but earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know, it just depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. Do you talk about money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy.
Like Crawford said, they share a lot in common, but fans and analysts continue to compare the two in search of the better fighter. A new source even put Crawford as the likely winner if they ever met. Still, when it comes to pure boxing ability, few in history can match Floyd Mayweather Jr. His crisp jab, precision, timing, and unmatched counterpunching allowed him to dismantle a long list of opponents, doing so across two very different versions of himself.
It's from the left hooks again. And the lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the en masse here at the end.
Just as Crawford pointed out, Pretty Boy Floyd was the aggressive version, bringing the fight to opponents, while Money Mayweather later evolved into a masterful technician, edging foes out with sheer brilliance. Whichever style you prefer, both identities shaped the legend of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Meanwhile, fans remain in awe of what Crawford did to Errol Spence in his last fight. A performance so dominant, it reignited the debate of whether Crawford could surpass Mayweather.